A few months ago, when T-Mobile announced that it was going to be acquiring Mint Mobile, a lot of people were wondering if things were going to be getting worse. Mint Mobile was an outlier, an expensive mobile service with no contract with a number of perks for its customers. It was a small rebel company among a sea of mega corporations, giving consumers an alternative, lower prices, different features, and sort of shaking up the MVNO market. I even put out a video taking a look into the future with T-Mobile and predicted that things would slowly get worse. And here we are, the first to fall, international roaming. Hi everybody, foXnoMad here, and today I want to help you travel smarter by sharing a feature that Mint Mobile is drastically changing and how that might or may not make it a less attractive mobile carrier option for you. But first, if you're not already, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, and let's get started. So Mint Mobile recently sent out an email notifying customers that their international roaming was, quote, getting an upgrade. I've made other videos about Mint's international plans, which were really useful for travel. The way things used to work with what Mint Mobile called UpRoam is you would load, say, $10 or $20 in international credit, and then that credit would simply exist on your account until you were outside of the US and decided to use it. Like most international plans, the rates for talk, text, and data would vary by the specific country that you happen to be traveling in. And those rates were fairly standard for international roaming. Calling from Mexico would be about 25 cents a minute, and it costs 2 cents per SMS or 2 cents per megabyte of data. And like most international roaming plans, especially those with limits on how much you can talk and text, this isn't something that you would be using on a regular basis or all the time because it would just get really expensive. A more likely scenario, and what I would recommend, is when traveling to get a local SIM or eSIM, so you end up paying local rates for data and potentially have a local phone number. Then, when you would need to check your SMS text messages from home, you would activate your Mint line for a few minutes a day or week, depending on how many messages you might be expecting, and then turn off the line. A common scenario might be you're trying to log into your bank account when you're abroad, and you need your phone number to get an SMS message to authenticate along with your password to get into your bank account. So you activate your Mint line, you turn it on, you'll get however many SMS messages happen to be waiting for you up there in the cloud. You'll get that, like your authenticator code, you'll type that in, log into your bank account, and then you turn off your Mint International line. And then the rest of the remaining credit that you had on your UpRoam, $10 or $20, whatever it happened to be, however much you used for those SMS messages, would just sit there and stay. And then the international credit you didn't use would just stay there until you used it again. But now, all of that is changing. Mint Mobile is replacing UpRoam with what they're calling a Minternational Pass program. On face value, it looks like a better deal. For $10, you get 60 minutes of talk time, 60 SMS messages, and a gigabyte of data. $20 for a 3-day plan with double the talk and text, and 3 times the data, or a 7-day plan for $40 that comes with 500 minutes, 500 SMS messages, and 10 gigabytes of data. Sounds pretty good, right? I mean, if you add it all up, it's about 33% less than you were paying with UpRoam. But, and this is a big difference between the previous UpRoam and the new Minternational Pass, and it's a lot worse, something that's just a lot worse. That is that these new plans all come with a fixed duration. What that means is the $10 plan is only good for a single day. So even though you get more talk and text compared to UpRoam, once it's activated, you have 24 hours to use it. So in the previous scenario where you're abroad and you need an SMS message to get an authentication code to log into your bank account, using UpRoam, that would have cost you 2 cents. That's assuming, of course, that you're not downloading a bunch of other messages at the same time, but for that authentication code, that one SMS, it would cost, say, 2 cents. Now with the Minternational Pass program, it's going to cost you $10. So you would load $10 of international credit to your Mint account, then you activate it, and now you get 60 SMS messages, 60 minutes of talk, 60 minutes of texting, and a gigabyte of data, all for $10, which is great, except you can only use it for 24 hours and then it expires. So in that case where you need that one authentication code, instead of 2 cents, you're now paying at least $10. After those 24 hours, your $10 of credit of international roaming expire, and then you're back to square one. If you're taking a 2-week vacation and need to check your accounts on occasion, with the new Minternational Pass plans, you're now paying about $80 for 2 weeks, or at least $20 for 2 check-ins. Now, I know a lot of you won't be using international roaming quite like I do, where I'm just checking in from time to time. Maybe you don't travel abroad very often, or maybe you just get you're off for 2 weeks, you're going to spend that $80 and you're just going to get full international roaming to cover your entire trip. And that's great for you. But for the others of you who are traveling abroad for longer periods of time or more frequently, and you just use your Mint US number to check in from time to time to get authentication codes, maybe to get SMS messages from those couple of people that don't use WhatsApp or iMessage, for example, then this plan is going to be a lot worse. So before, where you're just paying for the number of SMS messages that you were sending or downloading, now you're paying at least $10 upfront for 24 hours, and then you're going to have to renew that just to check your Mint SMS messages or make calls and so on. So what happens if you already have UpRoam credit? What happens to all of that? Well, Mint is going to roll that into your Mint wallet, which means you can use it toward your next Mint renewal, or you can use it toward the Minternational Pass plan. It's basically they're getting rid of UpRoam, and then they're just going to credit you back whatever you might have left on that UpRoam account. That is if you decide to stick with Mint at all. If you do, I would recommend moving many of your accounts that require two-factor authentication to use an email option or something like Google Authenticator, which doesn't require a phone number. In other cases, you can set up a Skype number, which is about $18 for every 3 months. And in many cases, this is going to work just as well as getting an SMS to your phone if you're just using it really for authentications or not frequently. Unfortunately, other MVNOs don't have good international plans. It was really a perk of Mint Mobile to have the UpRoam credit, and now that's going away. And if you want to go to a big carrier and get international roaming, it's going to cost you like $80 or $90 a month. So it's really not an advantage to go to a bigger carrier from Mint Mobile. The closest would be Google Fi, which has flexible international plans for talk and text starting at $20 a month. For now, though, when it comes to one of Mint Mobile's best features, RIP UpRoam. And this isn't a good sign in general for what's going to be happening with Mint Mobile. For those of you who were worried when it was announced T-Mobile was going to be acquiring Mint Mobile that things would get worse, seems like they sort of are, at least one step at a time, starting with international roaming. It seems like the future for Mint Mobile is less features that cost more, which is a real shame. Thanks very much for watching. I hope this explains the situation when it comes to Minternational plans and UpRoam. But if you have any questions, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. And also, what are your thoughts? What do you think about this change that Mint Mobile is making? Am I just really getting too worried, or is this a canary in a coal mine situation? Let me know down in the comments. And while you're down there, hit the like and subscribe buttons. I'll have new videos for you every week, and I'll see you in the next video.